Cash in on 2 million credits in its latest time trial on GT7. Let's check out the full track guide as we reach P4 in the world with the help of the Dark Knight. So here we are, welcome back to the channel. The latest video on GT7, and we're looking at the latest track guide to renew your 2 million credits. As usual, click on to sport mode. From there you can access your online time trials. We've already had a look at the Grand Valley one in the Honda S2000. There's a few days left on that one, so if you haven't had a look, that one's on the channel for you to look up. We're going to concentrate on the latest one. It's a Lego Major in the GR4 car. So you can select any GR4 car for this time trial, and we're going to go for the Lambo. It looks to be the OP car for this combination, definitely. So make sure you've got your racing hard tyres on. Click on the green tick, and away we go. So for this one, to get your 2 million credits, you look at a lap time of 2 minutes and 7.669. To earn 1 million credits, 2 minutes and 10.148. And to earn 250,000 credits, a lap time of 2 minutes 16.346. So for this one, assists, we've got 0 traction control, we're running counter steer on off, and ABS we're running on weak. So let's have a look at the lap and break it down for you to see if we can get you these 2 million credits. The first braking zone is quite a tricky one. We use these vehicles on the left hand side and kind of the end of that barrier. So as that comes out of shot, that's when we're going to hit the brakes. Brake in a straight line for as long as you can, coming down to second gear. You can take quite a bit of this curve on the inside, but try not to take too much, because your car will bounce and you'll lose a bit of traction. Just as you kind of get to the end of this kind of white patch on the right hand side there, we're going to hit the brakes, come down to first gear, and stay really tight for this one. So you can get on the accelerator really early in first gear, but you need to stay tight on that right hander. So for this next one, we're going to slow it down for you, the whole section. We're going to come off the accelerator, we're not touching the brake, but make sure that you hit this curb on the left hand side, because it will help you rotate that car. So stay to the left hand side and it opens up this next right hander. So that's braking zone, we're looking for that orange barrier on the right hand side. When that kind of comes out of shot, that's when we're hitting the brakes. But again, we're not hitting the brakes full, around about 75%. Stay tight to the right hand side, but on the exit here, be very careful on track limits. You've got to make sure that you're keeping 2 wheels to the right hand side of this curb. Usually in that corner you can normally drift out really wide, but for some reason you get penalised for doing it on this one. So make sure you stay within track limits on that one. Next one, a very tricky one, this downhill section. We use the kind of end of the concrete strip there on the left hand side as a brake marker. But again, we're not braking full. We get a bit of a twitch on the rear end, which kind of loses time to get to the apex, but that one's a tricky one to get right, and we did lose a bit of time on that section. We're climbing up the hill. This one's another tricky section, but you can kind of see where the kind of fence ends on the left hand side. As that comes out of shot, we can hit the brakes into third gear. Well, we're kind of braking halfway up this curve on the right hand side, so what we're going to do is hit the brakes about 50%, go down to third. In this section now, you can see how much of this you can actually cut. So as long as you stay within that kind of grey concrete, keep 2 wheels on there, you can cut a lot of that first corner, which helps you with the momentum for all the section that's absolutely flat out. Again, look at how much track you can actually cut, but keep 2 wheels on that kind of concrete and you'll be absolutely fine. And for this left-hander, you can cut as much as you can, absolutely flat out. Change up to fifth gear, and then you've got a long run to this really tight banked hairpin at the end of the straight. Now that section is a very important one to get right, so it might take a few attempts, but give it a go, and you can be surprised how much of the speed you can actually carry through those corners. So this next banked hairpin, then we're looking at the end of the green wall on the left hand side. We're going to brake in just before we get to that. We braked a little bit earlier here, coming down to second, just so we can get a decent line. You can really cut the inside, and we get such a good run out of that corner. That's the line that you want to be taking, so sometimes it's worth braking that a little bit earlier, just to get a good run out the corner. The old saying, slow in, fast out. This next section, absolutely flat out, not lifting at all. Come to this last few tricky little corners. So this one's a difficult one to brake for. You can see the 50 board in the distance. On the fence there's a little bit that sticks out, so we're using both of those references. But if you do want to use the 50 board, make sure that you're braking before you get to there. Very important one to get right. So in third gear, again, you can take a lot of this curve on the inside, drift out wide to the left hand side, and just as you reach kind of the end of the curb there, just a little tap of the brakes to get the front end pointed in. You can see again we can take a lot of this curb on the inside, to get that momentum up. Actually, didn't carry that much speed for there, so we lost probably about another tenth of a second to that little section there. So on this last bit, our last braking zone, we're using that board on the right hand side as a marker. We're braking just before we get there. Again, I'm braking a little bit early on this one, because you can take a lot of the inside curb. We can accelerate out into 4th gear, use all the exit. And that was a run to the line, and so that's a lap. Fairly decent lap, all in all. So we come across the line for 2 minutes and 4.323. So that's definitely good enough for gold. And at the time of recording, actually put us P4 in the world, so pleased with the lap, but there's definitely more in that. I think easily a 0.1 with a perfect lap. Yeah, it all depends how much time and effort that you want to put into these time trials, but it's good enough for gold, and that's the main thing what we're aiming for. So let's have a look at the chase cam. Just got to say, shout out to whoever designed this livery. Absolutely beautiful livery, it's Batman livery, gorgeous car. So the first section, take as much of that left-hand curb as you can. Stay really, really tight on that right-hander there. Opens it up nicely. Come across the right-hand side. All we've done this one. Let off the accelerator. Make sure that you hit that curb on the left. It will drag you to the left-hand side. It's where you want to be. Opens up the right-hander for this one. Nice and early on the throttle. Careful of the track limits on the exit. So I'm not sure whether the track limits have changed in the updates, but it does seem quite backwards. So the track limits that were used to get penalised from before, you don't, and vice versa. So a bit of a strange one. But a downhill section is a very important one to get right. Yeah, we definitely lost a good 10th there as well. The fastest first sector was a 0.8. So yeah, more time to find. And this one again is exactly what I'm talking about with the track limits. You can take a lot of that left-hander, as well as this section, absolutely flat out. You need to carry as much speed as you can through those S's. As you've got a long straight now, all the way down to this tight banked hairpin. This one is a difficult one to get right. I experimented to drive out in 3rd gear, but for me, coming down to 2nd felt a little bit better. So I brake fractionally a little bit sooner. Come off the brakes, the car rotating nicely, and get an accelerator nice and early, gives you a nice run out that hairpin. And you can get an accelerator really early on that one because it's a banked downhill section as well, which is good. Flat out for this left and right, not a problem at all. Take a bit of curb on the right hand side. And for this one again, lost a little bit of time. This one you're looking brake, you're not braking full around this course. Apart from that hairpin, there's not many corners in the first corner where your brake actually full, so you're kind of tapping the brakes or you're using about 50 to 75% of the brakes. You come to this last corner, again we brake out a little bit earlier just to get that nose kind of pointed in and take a lot of that curve on the left. Maybe could have gone the throttle a little bit earlier as well. But all in all, a decent lap. And let me know if this does help. Like and subscribe to the channel. We'll do a lot more of these, as you know by now. And we do daily race time trials. We're also involved in RTI League racing as well. And we do a lot more of these time trials to earn you your 2 million credits. So let me know if this does help. As usual, we'll leave you with the replay. And I'll see you all on the next one. Laters.